So this is a quick video on the KNARR expansion Skali, which includes villages, which upgrades your main player actions, as well as buying village upgrades. Give everyone a new player board expansion and a reference card. This new expansion augments your basic abilities. For example, when you place a new card in a new color column, you get a new coin. You can carry 1, 2, 3 coins. Here, for example, is what a coin looks like, similar to the helmets and bracelets. You can use them at set points in the turn. If you place a second card in a color column, nothing happens, except in 2-player, something happens. If you purchase an A land, you get an axe. And if you purchase a B land, you also get an axe. And these axes are used for raids. So, if you have the most axes, when all the axes run out from the general supply on the player board, whoever has the most axes will win the raid and get any benefits in their villages up here in the top. This positive white symbol means you get the benefits. However, if you lose a raid by having the least amount of axes when all the axes run out, then you get the penalties in your village, which is all the black spaces here. So here, a new symbol, you would lose a victory point. If you're in the middle and neutral, you don't either get the positive or negative effects, but you still lose one axe. The winner will lose all of their axes and cash it back to the general pool. The loser of the raid will not lose any axes at all, so they have a chance of winning for next time. If there's a tie for winners, or if there's a tie for losers, ties are friendly, so both winners will win the benefits, and both losers will actually both lose the benefits. But both winners will still cash in the axes, and both losers will not lose axes. But everyone in between, they don't get the benefits at the top here of the village, and everyone in between only loses one axe. Looking at the new reference card here, you get your reputation at the beginning of the turn, and then once per turn, you can do a trading phase before or after your main action, and similar, you can do a developing your village action, which is spending those 3 coins you have. You can develop your village before or after your main turn. To develop your village here, create a generic display of 4 village cards that everyone could buy from. And then to buy a new village card, you would look at the top right, and that would be the cost of how many coins it needs. And then the rewards, you would place it to the next of your village, so it powers up those basic abilities. So here, for example, when I would place a second card in a color column, I could get 1 point every time. But when I buy a B land, I would get the axe, as well as lose a point every time. So these villages just keep stacking, and it's completely optional to buy villages, but you might as well because you're doing your main action every turn. Whenever you buy a village, replace it immediately. You're only allowed to do 1 developing action per turn, so you can do it before or after. And then you still do your main action as normal, either explore the A or B lands, or place a new card into your color columns, and then you activate your villages. So the timing does matter because you complete your main actions first and then get the rewards from your villages here. And then, if all the axes run out from the general supply, the raid occurs, and that's when you compete how many axes. The axes are here. Every player gets 1 axe to start off the game, and then in the general supply on the board, place 1 additional axe per player, and then place another one so it breaks ties, and then place another one off to the side of the board as a final tiebreaker. When the axes in the supply on the board are used up, that's when a raid happens. But if for some reason you're collecting several axes in 1 turn, you would take the one off of the board as well to hopefully help you break a tie. And then a raid happens. But a raid happens after the ones on the board occurs. After the winner wins the raid, they return their axes back to the supply, back to the board. If there was one taken from off the board, replace that as well. We'll replace it first and then return the rest to the board. The new lands we have in this game, there's 5 new cards of A lands and 5 new cards of B lands. You can look up here, the rewards in the top right here are coins. Ability that they give you are axes, so you collect an axe so you can start racking them up for raids. Here's an example of upgrading your village. If you're the winner of a raid, you get an additional bonus to your raid. So here you get a bracelet and your 2 points. In the 2-player mode here, there are 2 cards, and you give one to each player here. The symbol indicates 2 players, and this is where placing a second card in a color column gives you a refresh on your refresh token. So if you have a refresh token, you can use it once per turn, and then it allows you to remove up to 1 or 2 villages from the main display, and then just swipe it and refresh it. Here's the explanation of a raid. If there's a tie, if there's a sole winner, if not, the raid again. 2 players. The player with the fewest raid tokens applies the penalty, then return 1 raid token to the board. In case of tie, both players get penalties and return their raid tokens to the board. If someone needs to take more than there's available, there's always that 1 extra raid token off to the board. Activate your village at the end of your turn. The symbols lose a victory point. In the 2-player game, refresh your token, get a coin. Develop your village. The turns are the same as the base game, except now you can trade and you may develop your village once per turn, before or after their main action. It could be done before or after trading that turn. The axis here, just place the 1 down, 2 players game. Each player takes a special building card, which shows you the renewal ability. The number of axes here, place 1 raid token per player, plus 1 on the board. So if you're in a 3-player game, 4 will be on the board. And then 1 additional is always off to the side. Components. So this is a quick video on how to play KNARR. Fantastic 4-player game. Set up the player board. Give each player a ship color. Give each player 3 bracelets and 3 helmets. And looking at the bottom of the player board, give each player 2 face-up non-equal cards and an active helmet and bracelet, as well as choosing either the A side or B side. Based on your player count, you may need to remove the 4 player cards, such as the 4 denoted here, whereas all the other cards are used. Each player gets 2 faces up to start up their tableau, and then their hand is made up of 3 random cards. And then create the marketplace, 5 random cards. Give each player their point tracker and the reputation tracker. After each player has a setup similar to this, you can set up the market board. Create a display of Vikings you can hire, in addition to your ship upgrades, the B cards and the A cards, and flip up 3 of each. And the setup should look something like this. So what do? This is a race to get 40 points. Whoever gets 40 points first, it ends the game, and then everyone takes equal amount of turns. So, on your turn, you're either doing action A, recruit someone from your hand, or B, use people in your tableau to purchase ship upgrades, which will give you massive point advantages. So you are creating your engine and then destroying your engine halfway so that you could pass the 40-point threshold. So on your turn, choose a color you want to play, purple, blue, red, green, or yellow. Add it to your tableau, and activate every card in that color column. Since I'm adding a new blue card, I only activate my blue column, which is just this one, which is 1 victory point. After that, since it was a blue card I played, from the market, I look for the blue column, and I draw this card and refresh it back to my hand. And then the next player would go. Always replace the market with a new card. Let's say it got back to my turn. I have a green card in my hand. I want to play it over here. So it activate every card in my green column. This symbol would give me a new helmet, and I'll get another victory point. Show the helmet active, place it to the side. Action B is spending your tableau to purchase a ship upgrade. The cost of a ship upgrade is in the top left corner, So this one needs 2 purples. This one needs 3 different colors. This one needs 4 identical colors. Whichever upgrade you buy, you can only buy 1 per turn. Let's say I was buying this one with 3 different colors for my tableau. You can choose any card you want to sacrifice. Add it to the face-up discard pile. And then immediately you get these rewards in the top right. So another active helmet, a reputation, and a random card from the top of the deck. Add it to your tableau, but do not trigger any abilities or the color column. New ship upgrades. Go to the top of your boat, and you are adding more to your pillars. The 4 different symbols in the game would be the reputation track. Move your cube up by 1 on the market board. Red bracelet, just grab 1 red bracelet and activate it. Get 1 victory point with this yellow triangle. Or this green helmet, prepare a helmet to the side of your board. What does reputation do in this game? If the game prolongs, if your reputation is past a certain threshold on the board, such as this 1 here, this 2, this 3, or this 5, every time it gets back to your turn, you will earn that many victory points, such as collecting dividends. So let's say I got to here, start of my turn, I'll collect 2 points, play my card action, the next player goes, and then it comes back to me. I'll get another 2 points because my reputation track is past the 2-point threshold, or on it. You can see the massive point rewards for these B tier upgrades. They have a higher cost respectively, but this 8 points here out of 40, that's 1/4 of the game that could launch you past the finish line right away. So why do you want to upgrade your ship, aside from getting the massive victory point boost? As a free action, before or after your main action, you can use your bracelets, 1, 2, or 3. If you use this free action, you are activating the columns on your ship, starting on the left to the right. So if I spent 1 red bracelet, I would activate everything in the left column. And as the rewards for the left column here, I would get 2 victory points. If I spent 2 bracelets, I would activate the first and the second column. So I would get 1, 2, 3 victory points and a reputation, just because that's what my ship upgrade has. And if I activated all 3, I would get 1, 2, 3. All pillars would activate, and I would get all the symbols. After doing that as a free action, take your normal action. Either recruit a new Viking, or buy a ship upgrade. What do the helmets do? Helmets are wildcards in this game. You can sub in helmets for any color of Viking for the purpose of a ship upgrade. In fact, you can even use all helmets for a ship upgrade. In addition to that, normally when you play a Viking card, such as this purple, I must take from the purple column of the market. But I could use a Viking helmet to switch to any color column in the market, which is very good if I wanted to create my engine of just purple cards. I could switch to a different column that had more purples if I needed that. If the game gets too repetitive or you need some variation, the game comes with unique rule cards that'll spice up the game. This one, for example, whenever you place the second Viking of a color, you can choose from any color column instead of its respective normal. This one, for example, when you get all 5 colors, you can immediately do the buy an upgrade action while still paying its cost. This one, if you get this row of colors, you get 1 of each symbol immediately. This one, when you add the 3rd card or more into a color column, you get 1 victory point. Here's the instruction book of all the symbols, the end of the game, playing with the artifacts which change the rules, the amulet, the weather vane, the golden bracelet, cauldron, helmet, mead cup, and silver coin, the free trading action explained with your bracelets, the exploring action, which is purchasing a ship upgrade, reputation being collected at the start of your turn if you made it past the threshold, and recruiting a new Viking, and then replenishing from the market, and setting up the board, X amount of players, the components list. Oh, you're at this rule. If the Viking deck runs out at all, and this is pretty crucial actually, if the Viking deck runs out, you shuffle the discard and use that. And then if that runs out, players who are hoarding cards in their tableau, the players who has the most, and this can be multiple people at the same time, the players who have the most must choose a card from their tableau and sacrifice it and add it to the market deck so that the market can replenish. And this isn't just one person, it could be multiple people at a time. The maximum amount of bracelets and helmets you can have are 3, so extras are lost. And additionally, this game is colorblind friendly with color symbols. Lastly, the game gives you 4 tokens to randomly decide who is the first player. Shuffle it up, randomly select one. Boom, you are ready to start the game.